Hey guys, this is HotNoob here, and this is PHP tutorial number 5. In the previous video we went over get variables and arrays, and in this video I'm going to be continuing on a little bit with get variables, and then I'll be moving on to post variables. So here we are. I'm going to start by making our basic PHP tags, and just for this example I'm going to be creating a link so we can actually do something. So a ref equals, and then I'm going to close the tags here. So because I want this to be sent to the same page that I'm working on, I'm only going to put a question mark. I'm not even going to put an index.php in question mark. It's really just a lazy way of telling the browser to send the data to the same page. So question mark, and I'm going to use password as the variable, and equals, and let's say you wanted to put in my password and your mom, but you wanted this to all fit into the password variable or get variable. So you have an issue here, right? Because when you send this, what's going to happen is the browser is going to think that you want to set password equaling to my password, and then that you want to declare another get variable called your mom. So what do we do, right? And how do we escape it? Do you slash it, or what do you do? Well, the answer is to use a nice little PHP function called URL encode. Now, you don't have to use this. You can, if you really want to do that, memorize all of this junk, like how and is equal to %26 or whatever. But instead, it's going to be a lot easier just to use the URL encode function. And so URL encode, and this is going to be much better for variable data. So we'll put in our string, or better yet, it'll just say password. Put it in a variable, make it a bit more tricky. So let's declare a password as equaling to my password and your mom. And let's call this my link. So that's what it's going to display. And let's see what happens. Whoops, there we are. So you get a nice little link here, and I'm going to open it up. And as you can see, it goes question mark password equals my password, and then %26, and then your mom, right? So what that does is it just encodes it for the browser. So instead of an and sign, you get %26. And when you want to receive it, you don't actually have to do anything special because PHP does everything for you. So we're going to go if is set, so we don't get any errors. $get password. So if it's set, we want to output it. So the password, how about the entered in password is $get, come back here, yeah, password. So ta-da! It's a bit messy. Let me just put in a little line break there. So there we are. So we have the entered in password is my password and your mom and whatnot, right? Pretty simple. Just one little function. It solves a lot of issues and security thingies and whatnot. So what's the next thing to do? I guess I can show you a little bit more about strings. You'll notice how I used a single quotation marks, but what if you didn't want to use that style of PHP programming and you wanted to use double quotation marks? What would you do? And you didn't want to add in this extra little dot because it's going to be a bit inefficient, right? So you'd be doing like the entered in password is, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put curly brackets. This is a nice little thing, and then $gets, and then password. Ta-da! And you should get the exact same thing as the above. But which one is more efficient? It's a tricky one. I haven't done the tests, but I'm pretty sure that the double quotation marks is very slightly more efficient in terms of processing time. However, this is easier to read, right? Because your editor will be highlighting this, right? Woo! Highlights the variables for you. Anyways, I guess that's pretty much. Oh, that's not quite it for get variables, but almost it. Now I'm just going to start off by creating a nice little HTML page and a nice little head and a nice little body. And we are going to create a form, right? And then action, we want it to go to itself, so we're just going to leave that blank. And then method. So for now, I'm going to be using get as the method. And so what's going to happen is it's going to send all of the data that we put into the inputs, right? Inputs, and it's going to put that into the URL. So I'll show you guys in a second here. So input type equals text, and then name is, let's put this as username just for the hell of it. And then let's put another one. Let's make a little login thing. Input type equals password. Whoops. Yeah, that's right. Password. The name, let's call this password. And just close it there. And then input, because we need to somehow send the data. Type equals submit. Come back here. And we'll just leave it like that. Okay, so what's going to happen is, well, let's see. Yeah. So this would be our username. This would be your password. And when we submit it, notice how it shows up in the URL. Username equals username and password equals password. Now, what's the issue with that? Well, it shows up. The user can visibly see their password, right? If someone's nearby, they can visibly see it. And furthermore, if they're on a public computer, it will save their password into their history, right? Your browser history, right? Because all these get variables get saved in your browser history. So the solution is to use post variables. Now, what are post variables? Well, they're very similar to get variables. In fact, when they're transferred to the server, they're encoded in basically the same method, but the difference is the post variables get sent through the header data on the page requests. And I'm not going to show you guys header data because that's way too much work. So if we change this to post, and let's enter in username and enter in password again. Whoops, I gotta get rid of this first. So username, password, submit. Right? No variables show up in the URL. But then how do you get access to them? Well, the only way to do it is PHP or some virus program or whatever. So I'm going to open up PHP here, and I'm just going to do variable dump. And just for example, I'm going to use request, right? Let's say we had no idea what variable it would be in or where it went. So I'm just going to refresh that, and as you can see, it shows up there. But you never want to do request. It's a bad habit to do. It's only very good for debugging. So, but you should get used to keeping track of it. So, what you do is like $get. You do a $_post. So let's refresh this, and as you can see, username equals username, password equals password, and whatnot. Simple as that. Let's make it do something now. So, right? We need to use if is set, whoops, come back here, $post. I'm really bad with the keyboard today. Username. And we have another variable, so let's also check, because we don't want anyone hacking this or whatever, right? Or some weird error glitch happens. So anyways, we're going to check for the password as well. So password. So if they're both set, right, then what we want to do is we want to check, compare them. So let's do, you know what, we can do this all in one statement, right? So what's happening here is we're going to check first. PHP is going to check if there is set, and then we can do this all in one statement, right? This will be more efficient and easier than doing two if statements. So if is set, $post, whoops, sorry, I'm just reading there. So and if $post username is equal to, come back here, username and $post, yeah, password is equal to password. Then we want it to display a little message. Let's output your username and password utterly fail. So let's do that. Continue, and we get a nice little message. So yeah, that's pretty much it for post and get variables. There are a lot more things you can do. You guys should know most of this other junk from HTML, but in case you don't, you can do input type equals hidden, right, for hidden values and whatnot, and then you can call this my hidden value, and then you just go value equals, I don't know, some sort of tracking number, right? That's something you should be aware of, right? I guess I'll just do a var dump just to show you guys what happens. Dump and $post, fresh, continue, and input type equals hidden name equals, I'm not even sure why it's not showing up, but it should be showing up. Oh wait, I have to resubmit it. I'm bad. Yeah. There we are. So we have my hidden value equals blah blah blah, username equals HotNoob, and password equals password. Ta-da! Simple as that. So anyways, that's pretty much it for post variables. Next tutorial, I guess I'll be going a bit more into arrays and for loops and all sorts of loop-de-loop things and whatnot. So you guys can come check out my blog at hotnoob.com, and I'll see you guys later.